Welcome to week 3 for essay writing for university. So this week we begin module 2 in your study guide, which is called Playing with Paragraphs. And in this first week we'll be covering module 2 over weeks 3 and weeks 4. In this first week we'll look at moving outwards in the circles of concern model that you were introduced to in the introduction to the course, and so that's about starting to expand your worldviews and think about other ideas and concepts apart from your own. We will look at the structure of the academic paragraph and begin work on that, and that's strongly connected to starting assignment 1, and assignment 1 is due at the end of week 4, so at the end of next week. So in terms of the first point for this week about expanding worldviews, you'll find that there's a reading set for you, which is in the resource materials section on Moodle, reading 6, called Where Do Our Values Spring From? Now that's quite a lengthy reading, but it's well worth spending the time to go through because it gives you lots of information and lots of food for thought about where exactly different individuals come up with their own values and beliefs about the world, and just emphasizing the fact that every single person will look at the world in a slightly different way, but that doesn't mean that we can't see their point of view or agree to disagree on certain ideas and values. And we've got an activity related to that in the study guide called the family activity, which is explained to you there, and it involves you posting a contribution to the Moodle forum about your ideas about the family, and there's some prompt questions that you might like to respond to as a way of getting a virtual discussion going within your group on Moodle about the family, and your lecturer will involve themselves with this also. So you might wonder what this has all got to do with academic writing and essay writing in general. Academic writing is about exploring the world around you, whether you're going to be studying science or engineering or arts or communication or education. You're engaging with different aspects of the world, and that will involve engaging with different values and beliefs about the world that we live in. So as a writer, you need to be able to look at the ideas of other people and respond to them in a thoughtful and considered way in the world of university. So this is just a little beginning and introduction to that, and as we move through the next 12 weeks of the course, by the time you get to actually writing an essay, that will be you putting forward certain ideas about particular topics to do with the world around you. So we're just starting with this in a small way now in week 3, and this is something that will follow through and underpin the rest of the course. So in terms of the academic paragraph, it's absolutely vital that you make sure you understand the structure of an academic paragraph. So the study guide talks about the idea of chunking information together on the one topic, and there's a particular structure that we need to do that through when we're writing in academic writing. So there's 2 other videos about paragraphs in the week 3 Moodle section that talk about that structure, and they relate to the information in the study guide about that. So the first video just gives a basic overview of the academic paragraph, and the second video focuses specifically on what we call the thesis illustration academic paragraph pattern. So you'll see that there's a general structure, and then from that general structure the academic paragraph can do different things, and there's a number of different patterns that it can follow and different purposes that it might have. And the first one of these that we're looking at is the thesis, what we call the thesis illustration paragraph, and that's explained as to what that is in the second video, and this is also the type of paragraph that you'll be writing for your first paragraph of assignment 1. So assignment 1, you will be able to begin this week, because the first part of assignment 1 is you completing activity 2.6 in the study guide. So you should make sure by the end of this week that you've written a good draft of your thesis illustration paragraph, so that you're ready to continue moving through the rest of module 2 and finishing the assignment by the end of week 4. So you need to make sure at this point that you've thoroughly read all the requirements for assignment 1. So even though you're not in a position to finish it this week, if you're following along with our schedule, you need to know what's coming up and what's expected of you, and you'll find those expectations and requirements via the link in the assignment block on Moodle. So when you go to the EWU site, you'll see on the left-hand side of the page there's an assessment block, and you need to click into the link for assignment 1 academic paragraphs. And when you do that, this second screen will come up that gives you all the detail and a description of what you will need to do for assignment 1. The most important link to click on is here, where it says full details of assessment 1 and a criteria sheet can be accessed by clicking on this link. There's also some other templates and things, and a sample or a model of what assignment 1 should look like, and there's a checklist that you can go through to make sure you've done everything you need to once you've completed the assignment. But for this week, make sure that you have accessed the details and the criteria sheet by clicking and opening there, and what you will find when you do that is a document of a number of pages that starts like this, which is your academic paragraphs, task and criteria sheet. So this is what explains to you exactly what needs to be done, and much of this is replicated in the study guide, but this is the official document that explains that to you. So you can see that it's due on Friday of week 4, and it has to be submitted by 11:45 p.m. and you will upload it through Moodle, and we will go through how to do that next week. This assignment's worth 15% of your total grade for EWU, and what it consists of is 2 paragraphs that you will write and a reflective response that you will write, and then the details of what that involves is what you need to read through in the rest of that. So we'll talk a bit more about the reflective response next week. That's not the biggest part of the assignment. The most important thing is that you get the 2 academic paragraphs written to the best of your ability. And this week, as I say, you're starting with the first one, which is activity 2.6. So for this week, you need to make sure that you understand the basic structure of an academic paragraph, and then from there you need to make sure that you understand the thesis illustration pattern for the academic paragraph. Make sure that you're up to attempting activity 2.6. Make sure you have accessed and read all the information on Moodle about assignment 1. And most importantly, once again, if you've got questions about any of this, make sure that you are asking them sooner rather than later. So we look forward to seeing you get started with the first assignment as you work your way through the first half of module 2, and next week we will continue and finish module 2, and you will be ready to hand in your first assignment for EWU.